This segment of JTV News is brought to you by Clarence Thomas Limited, Infinite Solutions, and Caribbean Sellers.
Haitian President Michael Martelly has called for a probe of an apparent sexual assault of a young man by UN peacekeepers from Uruguay. That country has already dismissed 6 of its troops, including 5 soldiers. The alleged incident was captured on a mobile phone video. It is the latest controversy involving US peacekeepers in Haiti.
This is part of the mobile phone footage showing an 18-year-old Haitian man allegedly being assaulted by Uruguayan peacekeepers in uniform. The soldiers are heard laughing throughout the 1-minute clip. 2 of them hold down the victim, and another one, who we see with his shirt off, then appears to engage in some kind of sexual assault. The rest of this footage is too graphic to air. The footage was filmed by a soldier in the room and was accidentally sent to a resident of the town of Port Salut, who recognized the victim as his cousin. Haitian and UN officials are investigating the incident using the footage, medical evidence, and the victim's testimony.
I think people are kind of in shock that a young man in the community was subjected to this kind of apparent humiliation. The young boy who I met seemed to be extremely stressed out and, slipped away from the courthouse while we were doing interviews to sort of go home. I think that he feels shamed and, not comfortable really in this community anymore now that everybody knows his name and what's happened to him and has watched it on their cell phones.
The presence of more than 12,000 UN peacekeeping forces in Haiti has been a controversial issue since their arrival in 2004. Tensions got worse following the 2010 earthquake.
A lot of people in Haiti is getting very angry at the UN soldiers here for their behavior. And this is not for the first time UN troops have been involved in cases of rape here in Haiti. We've got a number of cases that are still under investigation. But the problem here is there is a sense that the UN has not done enough to make sure that those soldiers are prosecuted.
Residents in Port Salut are calling for demonstrations against the UN, demanding its forces leave the country. For many Haitians, there's a growing feeling that the troops are bringing more trouble than peace. Nazanin Sadri, Al Jazeera.
The Uruguay president sent an apology to his Haitian counterpart over the allegations that UN peacekeepers soldiers from Uruguay had been engaged in sexually assaulting a young Haitian man. In his apology, the president vowed the maximum penalty for anyone found guilty. The Uruguayan government has also sacked a Navy commander with the UN mission in Haiti over the incident. President Martelly has condemned the alleged attack and demanded a detailed report on the exact circumstances of the incident. This incident comes after members of the UN peacekeeping mission from Nepal were accused of being responsible for a cholera outbreak that killed more than 6,000 Haitians. The government of Belize has announced that a meeting of Belize city gangs held on Sunday with the Prime Minister has resulted in an agreement for the implementation of an immediate truce among the rival groups.
The seemingly relentless waves of gang-related homicides gripping the streets of the old capital have arguably contributed more to the country's annual mortality rate over the last 5 years than all traffic fatalities combined. Despite successive governments fruitlessly attempting to address the problem, the number of casualties to crime and violence has only snowballed with time. It has been 3.5 years since the Barrow administration assumed office, and the problem has proven to be more than just a thorn in its side. An effort to bring together rival factions within Belize City's underworld is the latest endeavor to call a ceasefire.
The agreement is that there's a commitment on the part of both sides, and I'm saying both sides even though it involved different groups in each side, to actually hold it down. Essentially to start a process to work together that includes several stages. It includes mitigating, reconciliation. There were suggestions made by one side that perhaps we need to have a forum where they can all get together and start to socialize together to help to develop a relationship.
That relationship between enemy gangs have for quite some time been non-existent. As it currently stands, there have been 95 homicides since the start of the year, much of which can be attributed to the ongoing turf wars. On Friday, a meeting was convened by PM Barrow with members of various groups, including the dominant George Street gang, to establish a peaceful coexistence going forward.
The idea is to try and forge some kind of a truce, and that was made clear to both sides. Both sides expressed a willingness to talk about exactly that objective. Whether we'll actually be successful coming out of the meeting on Sunday is another matter, but given where we are, it's certainly worth the effort, and I certainly am absolutely committed to investing my time in the process to try and achieve the outcome that we all desire.
According to Minister of Police Doug Singh, the principal gangs, those being George Street and the Southside gangsters, have taken the necessary step to arrive at an amicable solution to curtail the recent spate of killings.
There is this clear understanding that this is an opportunity, maybe a first-time opportunity, with this very large group to actually move forward.
To understand the gravity of this problem, one needs only look at the evolution of gang culture in Belize. These cliques bear similar colors along party lines, and their rise to prominence have occurred within areas such as Majestic Alley and George Street.
The government has made efforts in the past. Most recently, there was a group of about 15 that were relocated to different parts of the country. That program hasn't worked very well. There was also the effort, I think, with the construction work being done on the south side for rebuilding of certain homes, and Killer Gentle was shot on the work site there. The Prime Minister made it absolutely clear to the group that unless we can create a safe working environment even for the members of these groups, then it's useless to try to provide the opportunities. Because if they can't work, if they can't come out and work anywhere, then what's the use of the government effort?
A coordinating committee has since been assembled to monitor the truce and to propose to government community uplifting initiatives that will also provide jobs across Belize City. Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.
Cayman Islands Auditor General Alastair Swarbrick says Caymanians may never know exactly where their tax dollars have gone since 2004, but he acknowledged that the government has made strides in improving their financial accountability.
A year and a half ago, former Auditor General Dan DeGay described government's financial and performance recording as a national crisis.
The situation has gotten worse in the intervening 2 years.
Today, the current Auditor General, Alastair Swarbrick, says things are slowly changing.
We are seeing progress now in the financial statements backlog, whilst that may be slower than I would have liked.
Every year, 37 government entities are supposed to prepare financial statements to give to the Auditor General's office. From there, the AG decides if they're accurate, and if so, he signs off upon them. Then they're supposed to be tabled in the LA so the public can see where its money is going. From there, the Ministry of Finance is supposed to combine the financial statements into one consolidated report. The idea is to give an overall picture of government's financial position. 37 financial statements from the last fiscal year were due to the Auditor General by the end of Wednesday. At 9 a.m., he said 60% were already in.
Got a much better chance now of getting something that provides some accountability to the people of the Cayman Islands.
But tracking down money from 2004 through 2008 is basically not worth the effort, and the Ministry of Finance has never provided a consolidated report.
I think it's regrettable, and it's not where I'd like to be myself, but I think that's the reality of the situation we're in.
Mr. Swarbrick says that makes it hard to determine where the country truly stands financially.
It doesn't give legislators a chance to examine and review what the monies they authorise for expenditure have been used for. From a perspective of wider public, they can't see what the tax dollars have been used for.
But he's happy to report the winds seem to be shifting for a country desperate to straighten out its finances. Kevin Morales, Cayman 27.
The Barbados government is leading by example and has announced plans to retrofit all of its buildings and properties to make them more energy efficient and to generate electricity from solar power. Prime Minister Frundell Stewart made this announcement while addressing the official opening of the Barbados National Oil Company Limited's Green Maintenance Facility, where he said that government was in the process of preparing the necessary documentation to apply for a $25 million loan from the Inter-American Development Bank to fund the program. Noting that government's electricity bill was over $30 million, Stewart said the savings would meet other critical social needs. Stewart said government's push for retrofitting of the country's buildings and the generation of electricity from renewable resources of energy will also see the emergence of an industry of skilled persons. The Taiwanese government is funding a project to install solar panels in the government headquarters of St. Kitts Nevis, according to Prime Minister Denzel Douglas. Douglas accepted a check from Taiwan's resident ambassador to finance the project, which is part of a green movement in the Federation. The government of St. Kitts and Nevis wants to achieve at least 60% of its energy generation from the use of renewable energy and wants to achieve this by the year 2015. The solar panel project will take place within the next few weeks. Douglas said the government was building on the work of Nevis, which is at the forefront of the Caribbean's green sector, with work underway on a geothermal plant and an already functioning wind farm powered by Windwatt. This is Walter Barrett for JTV News.